everyone, for today's video, we are going to talk about Asian regionalism. But before we start, this video is for educational purposes only, and we are allowing our instructor Mr. Roldan Ardines to use this as an educational material. Learning objectives for this video is to differentiate between the regionalization and globalization, identify the factors that leading to a greater integration of the Asian region, and analyze how different Asian states confronts the challenges of globalization and regionalization. Next is, what is Asian regionalism? Why is there an Asian regionalism? And what are the examples of Asian regionalism? What are the advantages and disadvantages of regionalism? What are the factors of regionalism? What is the new regionalism? How does regionalization affect globalization? And what is regionalism in the Philippines? What is the difference between regionalism and globalization? And now, let's proceed to the first learning objective, which is the differentiate between regionalization and globalization. Regionalization is the practice or trend of separating regions into little portions and dividing huge areas into regions or districts. Also, it refers to the process by which regions integrate economically, politically, and socially to create more localized network blocks. Regional economic blocks. Countries within a geographic region form trade alliances or economic communities like the European Union, ASEAN, or NAFTA, USMCA, focusing on reducing tariffs and harmonizing regulations within the region. Localized trade. Unlike globalization, which emphasizes global trade, regionalization focuses on increasing trade and cooperation within a specific region. This often leads to stronger regional economies. Political cooperation. Neighboring countries form political alliances, such as defense pacts or cooperative foreign policies. Cultural identity. Regionalization often preserves and strengthens regional identities and cultures, which can sometimes resist the homogenizing effect of globalization. Globalization refers to the process by which businesses, technologies, ideas, cultures, and policies spread across national borders and become interconnected globally.
Let's start from the beginning with a background to globalization. Advances in technology, such as mobile phones, aeroplanes, telephones, and the internet, have made the growth of transport and communication networks possible. Amongst other things, this means
Economic integration involves free trade agreements, multinational corporations, and global supply chains. Countries participate in international trade and investment, and economic activities are coordinated on a global scale. Cultural exchange. Cultures blend with a widespread access to the media, entertainment, and technology across borders. This can lead to a more homogenized global culture. Technological connectivity. Communication and technological developments facilitate instant global connections, making it easier to share information and ideas across the world. Political influence. International organizations like the United Nations, World Trade Organization, and International Monetary Fund play a significant role in global governance. Globalization has been criticized for increasing inequality, contributing to the loss of local jobs, and creating environmental degradation. Regionalization, on the other hand, while potentially reducing global competition, might limit opportunities for countries outside of the regional blocs and could lead to protectionism.
Identify the factors leading to a greater integration of the Asian region. There are 7 factors leading to a greater integration of the Asian region. 1 is economic interdependence. Increased trade stronger economic ties through trade, investment flows, capital and technological moving freely, supply chains, shared resources, and production lines. Two is advancement in transportation and logistics. One is highways and railways, faster and more efficient connectivity, air travel, increased accessibility and tourism, shipping infrastructure, improved port facilities and services. Three is harmonization of policies and regulations, trade agreements, investment protection, standard and regulations. Four is technological innovation, digital infrastructure, e-commerce, and fintech. Five is rise of regional trade agreements. One is ASEAN, RCEP, and FTA. Democratic shift and migration patterns. Growing middle class is increased consumer demand, labor mobility, skills and knowledge sharing, urbanization, population growth in cities. 7. Geopolitical cooperation and stability. Regional security, reduce conflict and greater stability. 2 is diplomatic ties, strengthen relationships and alliances. Next is multilateralism, working together to address shared challenges.
I am Dekade Tabas, and in this presentation, I'm going to tackle about the challenges of globalization and regionalization and how they confront of these challenges. First, challenges of globalization. A best example of the challenges of globalization is a spread of disease. COVID-19 is a clear example of a challenges of globalization as its rapid transmission across countries was facilitated by travel and trade networks leading to a worldwide pandemic. And let's proceed to the challenges of regionalization. And one best example of our challenges of regionalization is a regional rivalries. And why does regional rivalries is a part of challenges of regionalization? Regional rivalries are a challenge of regionalization because they can hinder cooperation and collaboration among neighboring countries, creating conflicts and disrupt economic integration and political stability within the region. And the best example countries is Philippines and China. Yes, the Philippines and China is a prime example of regional rivalries, particularly over territorial disputes in the South China Sea, which have led to the heightened tension and diplomatic challenges in the region. And analyze how different states confront the challenges of globalization and regionalization. Different states confront the challenges of globalization and regionalization by adopting varied strategies such as strengthening national policies to protect local industry or engaging in regional alliances to enhance their global competitiveness. And some states emphasize economic integration and free trade, while others focuses in safeguarding sovereignty and cultural identity against external influences. So let me give you an example of regional alliances. Example of our regional alliances is ASEAN and NATO. ASEAN is a association of South East Asian nations. And the country is a part of ASEAN, which are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and also Vietnam. And NATO is considered a regional alliances. Yes, of course. NATO is considered a regional alliances. NATO, which means a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is also considered a regional alliances, but its scope and purpose differ from the ASEAN. Because ASEAN focus on economic and regional cooperation, while NATO foundation is built around military, security, and defense within the North Atlantic region. However, NATO's activities and partnership extend globally. So, thank you.
Advantage of regionalism. Regionalism promotes economic cooperation through increased trade and resources pooling, enhances regional security by addressing international issues, fostering cultural exchange and mutual understanding, and increases the global influence of member countries by allowing them to act as unified bloc international forum. This is the advantage of regionalism. How about the disadvantage of regionalism? While offering benefits to members, regionalism can lead to the exclusive of non-member countries, cause their diversions from more efficient external producers, exacerbate the regional inequalities, and raises concern about national surveillance due to the shared decision-making and potential highlighting regional tensions if not managed efficiently. Regionalism is shaped by a variety of factors like geographical factors, historical factors, economic factors, political factors, and cultural factors. The geographical factors, such as natural barriers and resources distributions, create distinct regional identities and interests, fostering a sense of regionalism. Then the historical factors also play a role, as regions with unique historical backgrounds or experience with autonomous governments often develop strong regional identities. In economic factors, including economic inequalities and regional specializations, drive regions to advocate for greater control over their resources and development. Then the political factors like decentralizations and political marginalizations lead regions to seek more autonomy or representations, further influencing the regionalism. And finally, the cultural factors such as linguistic, ethnic, and religious differences threaten regional identities and contribution to a desire or for cultural preservations and autonomy. The new regionalism focuses on development, sustainable practices, enhanced cooperations, greater exclusivity. The focuses of development is a new regionalism, prioritize economic development and poverty reduction through shared resources and initiative. Then the sustainable practices is it emphasizes environmentally sustainable practices and collaborations effects to address climate change and resources management. The enhanced cooperation is it promotes stronger regional partnerships and collaborations on issues like trade, investment, and technology. And the greater inclusivity is aimed to include all countries and religions regardless of their levels.
This is Cadet Ariao, and we will tackle about regionalism. So, what is Asian regionalism? Asian regionalism refers to the process by which Asian countries come together to cooperate and integrate economically, politically, and socially. This involves initiatives and frameworks that promote collaboration among Asian nations in areas such as trade, culture, and development. The goal is to foster greater regional stability, prosperity, and collective strength in the global arena. So, why there is Asian regionalism? Asian regionalism has emerged for several reasons. 1. Economic integration. To enhance trade, investment, and economic growth by reducing barriers and creating a more interconnected regional market. 2. Political stability and security. To address common security concerns, manage conflicts, and promote peace in the region. 3. Cultural and social collaboration. To strengthen cultural ties and promote mutual understanding among diverse Asian societies. 4. Global influence. To increase the region's collective influence, global issues, and presenting a united front in international forums. 5. Addressing common challenges. To tackle shared challenges like environmental issues, disaster response, and public health crisis. So, what is an example of regionalism? An example of regionalism is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. ASEAN is a political and economical union of Southeast Asian countries that promotes regional stability, economic integration, and cultural exchange. It has initiatives like ASEAN Free Trade Area or AFTA to reduce tariffs among member states, and the ASEAN Regional Forum to discuss security issues.
Impacts of regionalization and globalization. Complementary processes. Regionalization can also complement globalization by creating stronger regional markets that can then engage more effectively in global economy. For instance, the EU acts as the powerful regional bloc in global trade negotiations. Number 2. Challenges to globalization. Regionalization can also challenge globalization by promoting regional over global interest. For example, regional trade agreements might prioritize members' countries over global trade partners, potentially leading to protectionism. Number 3. Stabilizations of regions. Regionalization can stabilize regions economically and politically, which can then contribute to more stable global environment. This can foster globalization by providing secure and predictable markets. So what is the regionalism in the Philippines? Regionalism in the Philippines refers to the strong sense of identity and loyalty that people in various regions of the Philippines country feel towards their own local areas. The Philippines is composed of many islands, and each region has its own distinct language, culture, and traditions. This had led to the fragmented sense of identity, where people identify more strongly with their own regions, as Ilocano, Cebuano, or Bicolano, than with the nations as whole. Difference between regionalization and globalization. Globalization involves worldwide process and interactions affecting the global economy, culture, politics, and environment, while regionalization focuses on specific regions or groups of countries that shares common interests, forming a regional blocs or alliance. Number 2. Globalization aims to create more interconnected and interdependent world, breaking down the national barriers, while regionalization seeks to strengthen within the particular regions, often emphasizing regional identity, autonomy, and self-sufficiency. Third one is globalization promotes global free trade and removal of trade barriers worldwide, while regionalization encourages trade and cooperation within the particular regions, sometimes at the expense of global trade. Fourth one is globalization leads to spread global culture, often resulting in cultural homogenization, while regionalization preserves and promotes regional cultures and identities which can counteract the homogenizing effect of globalization.